The STL Hockey Fan Podcast is presented by Interstate 70 Sports Media Group. I-70 strives to give you the best sports coverage in the tri-state area. Find them on Facebook or at interstate70sports.media. Welcome, everybody, to the STL Hockey Fan Podcast. We have a lot to talk about. We're going to look at the Blues' struggles, of course. That's the theme of the entire year. And because of those struggles, we're going to look at the top draft picks. Other than McKenna and Stenberg, we have Verhoff and Smits. The Bruins Lightning outdoor game was absolutely insane. And where is Panarin going to end up? All of that. But first, we have a message from our sponsor. Dogtown Pizza. If you haven't had a Dogtown Pizza, you are absolutely missing out. There is nothing better than coming home from work or school or wherever you're stuck at for the day, throwing a Dogtown Pizza into the oven for pretty much no time at all, and enjoying that St. Louis-style greatness. With selections like a classic pepperoni, the 4-meat, the deluxe, and the veggie, there's a perfect pizza for everyone. The best part is knowing you're supporting a local St. Louis business and family. Dogtown Pizza has partnered with our beloved Blues, but also with other prominent St. Louis figures like Steve's Hot Dogs. And it's run by the Shaper family, St. Louisans through and through with a decade in the business. My family and I had 2 of these bad boys today in preparation for this, and they turned out incredible. Just look at that cheese. Bottom line, if you're looking for a pizza you'll love, from a local company you can trust, run by a family you can relate to, go to dogtownpizza.com, find a store near you, and go get one. Thanks again to Dogtown Pizza for sponsoring this podcast. Let's go get a pizza, and let's go Blues. Thank you to Dogtown Pizza for, giving us a shot, helping us out. We greatly appreciate it. If you guys are out and you're hungry, get a Dogtown Pizza. It's the best St. Louis pizza you can get. And you can quote that. So getting into it, the Blues last game, they lost in heartbreaking fashion to the Nashville Predators. They were up 5-1 and then surrendered 5 unanswered goals. I'll be honest, not to sound pessimistic, but when it was 5-3, I kind of assumed that this was not going to go our way.
Right. Yeah. Everybody knows that a 5-1 lead is the most dangerous lead to have in hockey. Right. So you really got to watch your everything at that moment. I have no explanation for what happened aside from they just stopped in the middle of the second and the Predators took over. I have no idea.
It's so baffling, like the entire season as a whole, because and honestly, this is something that Doug Armstrong talked about whenever he decided to start the retool in the first place. It's like, it's the Jekyll and Hyde thing. One game they're absolutely like blowing out the like one of the top teams in the league, and then the next, Nashville, like they're not that far above 500. You dominate for a little bit and then like you just let it up. Like you never know what you're going to get. It's the fact that like there's such a drastic jump from like you're either amazing or you're awful. There's no like in between. You're not really battling like, and that was one of the things that Doug Armstrong talked about whenever he started the retool is like, if there was any consistency, you can think about keeping it all together and working towards something. But with the fact that like you just never know what you're going to get, that uncertainty, you can't really build off of that.
Right, and it happened mid-game. I mean, in the second, we were 10 minutes deep, and I don't think Nashville even had a shot going into that, and then just flipped on its head. And I'm at a loss of words for it. Honestly, you can't explain it.
Yeah, I really want to know, for one, like Kairu was doing like incredible. And actually real quick, I want to take a look at this. So see if I can bring this up. I want to see everybody who scored. Jake Neighbors scored, Buchnevich scored
Twice.
twice. Yep. Again in the second. Broberg scored. Pareko got his first. And then it is just McCarron, Forsberg, O'Reilly, Stamkos. I don't get it. You've got finally, like, these are your top guys. I would even include Neighbors in there because he's literally your top guy.
Yeah.
But these are the guys that you want to score, even Broberg and Pareko. So it's like this is what you've been talking about this whole time. You need your top guys to produce. Well, they did, and then they stopped and they let the other team produce. So I don't know. It's just a big Jekyll and Hyde, and it is so frustrating as a Blues fan.
No, it definitely is. And just in general, as a hockey fan, that's the day before. So that was which day? That was yesterday, right? So Monday night, Sunday night. I forget who played, but it was another 5-1. Oh yeah, it was the outdoor game.
And we're gonna get to that for sure.
Yeah. So that's back-to-back nights where that occurred. I don't know if that's a record yet or what, but that's not the right record you want to be on.
No,
at least not
all.
that side of it.
So, speaking of Blues struggles, that will land them, if everything keeps going the way it is, in a top draft pick position. And so, we have a lot of talk of Gavin McKenna and Ivar Stenberg. And, those guys are incredible. I've looked up, the highlights and whatnot that I'm sure everybody else has seen. And yes, they're great. But what about 3 and 4? Or, just number 2 on both those lists. So they're both defensemen, for one. The North American player is Keaton Verhoff. And if you look at this guy's his highlights, you wouldn't even know that he's a defenseman. It is just goal upon goal upon goal. It is absolutely insane. And he is a sniper. I don't know. This is definitely a kid that I would want on my team.
Right. And not only that, but the guy's already built like an NHL player. He's 6'4" and solid. And, he's right-handed as well. So having a right-handed blue liner is pretty important these days. Yeah. And, that's one thing that the Blues have struggled with is a good right-handed defenseman. Yeah. And like you said, 3 and 4, they're not too shabby. So, I mean, the kid grew up as a goalie and then decided to switch up and get into...
see, that I didn't know.
Yeah. So I think age 12, he switched to playing defense and grew into that. He wanted more action.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Very good choice. And then our other defenseman is, I'm going to ruin it, Albert Smits.
Yep.
And like whenever you watch him, this is a defenseman. He definitely, he'll get some goals. It seems like mainly, from the blue line, slappers, something like that. But his decision making, he'll get you out of your zone, and it's just smart plays. His highlights are really just him like saving his team in certain situations. He has that sense of urgency to actually get to the puck. He's not sitting waiting to block it. He's going to go and get it. This is also something that you need because I imagine get him developed enough, get him on your PK, and maybe it doesn't suck as much.
Well, not only that, but the kid is already playing with adults. He's playing in the Finnish Pro League at 18 years old and putting up big numbers as far as the minutes go. So he's already like on a speed run to get on the NHL ice. So again, like you said, we'll take him with open arms.
Absolutely. Who do you think the bottom 4 teams are going to be? Right now we're looking at Vancouver, the Blues, and then who's right above that? Yep. Okay. Yep. New York Rangers is 30, Calgary Flames at 29, Winnipeg at 28. So you have to imagine we will see those players go probably in that order. It'll either be Stenberg or McKenna first. that will be totally up to, whatever team goes because they know that the next person is going to get your 50-50 shot, you know what I mean? And if McKenna pans out and Stenberg doesn't, like, there's going to be something going on there. But you go to, your next two teams, they're gonna get those guys we just talked about, Verhoff and Smith. So you look at this draft class, like it's kind of stacked. If you want a silver lining, there's no better time for the Blues to be in the situation they are to get one of these guys.
Right, and that's somebody that you're going to have to build a team around in what, 4 to 7 years, looking that far out.
Yep.
That's what's required these days. No matter what their background is, they have their programs that they run through. So again, as far as the Blues fan, looking forward, it's like, okay, do we just sit here and struggle through the next 4 to 7 years and hope for some good streaks and whatnot? But the future is nice already with who we got on our team with Snuggerud and Dvorsky.
Yep.
We have a good group of prospects as it is right now, so the future is bright. I will say that.
I do agree with that. I would like to get into the new core. I say the new core because I feel it's inevitable that the current core will be moving on. But like you're saying, the future's bright. We've got Dvorsky, Snuggerud, there's Holloway, Broberg, Neighbors, Hofer, even Mayu. Like
Yeah.
the fact that I feel like we haven't really talked about him much means he's kind of doing his job.
That's right. He's not standing out as much and being the dummy on the play. And since he hasn't been doing that, all eyes are off him right now.
Right. And man, and this is just a side thing, but that little stint for Springfield, like that helped him tremendously because like what it happened once and
Yeah.
then he's back up and then he's solid.
Yep.
But just the new core as a whole, I think like Berggren is a part of that. Um, I don't know. I see some like good spurts there, but I really think that the older core is probably on their way out.
Yeah. Who would you lump in with that as far as, would you consider Bennington core right now?
I would.
Yeah.
I would.
I mean, there's only 2 games difference between him and Hover right now as far as games played.
Yeah, but like you can just see it. You know what I mean? Like out on the ice, you can see, and it's sad if you ask me for Bennington because like I don't know what's going to happen for him coming into these Olympics. Um, which I guess now we could just move on to the Olympics. Like,
Yeah.
is he actually like is he even going to get the start? That's what I want to know. Like, do you think that they actually go through with that and kind of stick to their guns? And if that does happen, does he actually perform, or does he do what he's doing here?
You mentioned it. I guess the last podcast talking about who's in front of them, and if it's a better team, then we'll see a better Bennington. But some of these goals that have happened on him just in the past few games alone, it's pretty soft and just not. It's so wild. The other day when I went to the game, I was sitting close to the bench, and Bennington was on the bench as Hofer was in. And I'm watching Jordan, and the whole time he's completely focused on the game. He's paying attention to every little thing that's happening out there. But then you get him on the ice, and it's like, why weren't you watching the puck? So it's hard to say like where he's at mentally. Is he still thinking about that 1.7 seconds or whatever it was, or
Yeah.
it's tough to see him on the bench and look that enthusiastic and involved in the game, which was a good game, but then show up on the ice and just not be the Jordan Bennington that we hope and need.
Yeah, I feel like his kryptonite right now is those like deflected goals. And I mean, I feel like you get one guy in front of him and like you take away his eyes. And I mean like you've seen him in, through traffic get like these crazy glove saves and all this stuff, but like literally it's you put one guy in front of him and he's blind. I do not understand it. I understand like a deflection goal going in; those are crazy. You cannot predict those. There's almost nothing a goalie can do. But like there has to be something, right? like,
Right.
like you can't always get beat by like having a guy in front of you that just like knocks it out of the air.
Right. But, a lot of those players are playing those pucks that way now. They're probably working on that a lot in practice as far as deflections go.
Oh yeah,
Because,
and I bet they see that in video too.
oh, yeah, you watch the Blues and they're throwing it at the chest instead of the corners in a hope for a rebound so he can tip it in or do whatever.
Right.
Or, like you said, just blind the guy for 0.2 seconds and let it bounce off some awkward puck or whatever, or stick.
Let's get away from depressing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So this Boston Tampa Bay game.
Yeah.
So this was the outdoor game. Where was it? Stadium Series?
Yeah. So it was in Tampa, where the Buccaneers play.
Okay.
Yeah.
This game was insane. I'm not even going to be able to like really do it justice here. You got to go like watch the highlights or like find a condensed game or something. As soon as it opens, Brandon Hagel scores 11 seconds in, I believe. Yes. And so that would be the only goal by Tampa until you get to the spiral. So Boston would take over. You have, is it Steves? Man, I'm not good at this. You have Steves with the first goal, Morgan Geeky with the second, Victor Arvidsson with the third. It comes into the second period, and this is almost exactly like the Blues game, guys. Then you have Matthew Poitras, I hope that's right, with a goal 2 minutes and 22 seconds in, another one by Morgan Geeky, and then boy, you have 3 power play goals from Bjorkstrand, Radish, and Paul, and then they tie it up in the third, and then it goes to overtime, and Jake Gensel gets the shootout goal to win it. Sound familiar, everybody?
Yeah.
Like I can only imagine, and honestly, I'm okay with this because I'm not a big Boston fan, obviously, but I can only imagine how they felt. Like that is an absolute like heartbreaker, especially outdoor game, like big day. Yeah,
that's the largest comeback in outdoor NHL game history. As far as outdoor games, typical thing in Nashville, I guess.
it's just outrageous. And then we can talk about the big thing. There was a goalie fight.
Yep.
So this was Swayman and was it Vasilevsky?
Yeah.
So it was a good fight.
Yeah.
A big scrum going around. Swayman, he gets in there, and it was actually spectacular. You see these things, and you're like, why wouldn't they let Bennington and Fleury fight? Yeah, but just probably one of the most entertaining outdoor games I've seen, other than all the Blues ones because they've won them all.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in just sheer comparison between last time the Blues played, it shows you they played in Minnesota at that time. Yeah. So outdoor.
Well, actually, no. The last one was in Chicago at Wrigley.
Okay, yeah, but it was still cold, right?
Oh, very.
Yeah. Okay. And down in Florida, they expected it to be a lot warmer than what it turned out to be, and so they had issues with their ice and spent a lot of money trying to cool this thing off, and it didn't even matter. It was cold enough to do it without. But they had like 65,000 people there. And that shows you the draw that a hockey game could bring,
And you said that's in Tampa, so like that's yeah. Now, granted, like how many of those are from watching the Panthers, win it back to back, and before that, even just go to the finals? Like
it's conspiracy. They're trying to lure all the good players down to Florida, cutting them checks for $100 million. Say, don't worry, you'll get that money in 10 years. And
it's not a bad play.
No,
it's not a bad play.
It's working. Yeah.
So let's move now to Artemi Panarin. So I have this absolute wishful thinking that he would want to come to a broken down non-contender ready for a rebuild, but it does not look like that's going to happen. He is obviously looking for an extension wherever he goes. So from what I've seen, and this is from, I think his name is David Pagnotta. And so basically with an extension, Artemi Panarin is willing to go to, I believe, Washington, Los Angeles, San Jose, Florida, Detroit, and Carolina. Without an extension as just a rental, he's looking at, who would have guessed it, Colorado, Dallas, Anaheim, and again, Carolina. So, I mean, no Artemi Panarin for us.
No.
And he may end up right there in our division beating up on us.
You know, he's a centerpiece guy that you build the whole team around. That's one of those dudes, and we don't really have that guy right now. No. But we don't have the cap space for him either, do we?
No, I think he's looking for like 10, 11, 12 million.
Yeah.
You know, you're right. I checked out his stats. Man, he is like a 70-point season guy, like pretty much every season. I didn't know how good he was. Like I knew, you know, he was drafted to Chicago, and then he went to Columbus, and then from there he comes over to the Rangers, and I don't know. You would think with a guy like him, you'd be able to like have some success, right? Yeah, and it seems like those teams didn't.
Right, that's true. But a lot of it goes into it, right? You know, how's the coaching? How's the rest of the team in general? You know, what's the culture like and everything else? And if you walk in, big gun guy, but they know you're there for the rental, you can probably see, or just even short term stuff. You know, I didn't see his length as far as the other contracts go.
Yeah.
But
yeah, he's one I definitely wish that we could get, but you know, again, you've got to make it like worth their while, but you've got to make it like attracting, you know what I mean? Like to come here. Because I mean, right now the Blues are not in really any conversation. It's pretty much like they've fallen off the map until they can get like something going, you know what I mean? Like nobody's really paying attention anymore. And so nobody wants to come here because they can't really, like they can't put anything together, I feel like.
Right. As far as any sort of package goes, yeah, you're right. I mean, the city itself can draw some players. I know the history and just the alumni alone.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But yeah, unless they're willing to open up those pocketbooks, you're not going to get those guys. Unless you completely tank, get your first pick, and then see him in 6 years, you know.
Man, can we talk about that a little bit, and then we'll probably wrap this up. So, man, I just see constantly comments saying like, you know, tank, like just certain teams, even some people conspiring to say that like they are tanking like on purpose. Like it's just not a thing. It can't be. Like especially not in a team sport like this. You know what I mean? Like one, get a room of super competitive guys to like purposely lose. They have way too much pride. That's not going to happen. But also convince one guy, and those other guys are probably going to, you know, hockey stuff. Let's just say that. Like, can we just put that to bed? Like, that is not a thing that teams do, or at least in the NHL. I don't know about the rest.
Right. I think it's just one of those things fans lean on as far as, no, our team is terrible this year, or no, they're just doing it for a better draft pick.
Right.
You know, so I think it's an easier hit on their ego as a fan to just be like, oh, no, they're doing it for draft pick, blah, 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 compared to, no, they're terrible. And the points don't lie. I mean, Buchnevich being their number 1 point guy right now at, what's he at, 33 for the day, I think.
Yeah, he's around that.
That's wild because there was a lot of talk about him, you know, not earning his contract and stuff. And then you turn around and he's the guy with the most points on the team right now. So,
yeah. And he can do some pretty incredible stuff, man. Something that sticks out to me is that one goal that he got where I believe he kicked it up to his stick, hit it with the stick, and then in. Because I remember when they got that goal, I was like, that's not, like, I wasn't even celebrating. I was like, that's going to get called back. And then you see the slow-mo and you're like, how? Like in a fraction of a second, he does that. But then, you know, he has, you know, the spurt through this season where like he couldn't get anything. Like he would try. It seemed everything. It seems a lot like a Robert Thomas syndrome where like, open nets constantly, but you just can't get them.
Right. I wonder. I don't want to steer away from that too much, but I know we're wrapping up. But with Thomas, is his injury? I guess we'll see. I don't know. It's fully after the Olympic break now, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because he underwent they said it was a minor surgery.
They didn't even say surgery; it said procedure, right?
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Don't let me put out falsity.
Right.
But yeah, he underwent a minor procedure, and he is expected back after the Olympic break, which I will be watching. By the way, I love the Olympics.
Right. And that was one thing I was going to say. Sorry to cut you off there, but with Bennington, if he gets a start, I'm not sure, but there's more games to be played there compared to the Four Nations. So you'll see a rotation no matter what. Now, is he the final goalie in that final game wherever they land? I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah, I would. I said it in one of my videos. Even though I'm obviously rooting for Team USA, I desperately want Bennington and Parayko to win that, come back, and basically same thing that happened last year.
Yeah,
and of course that's wishful thinking, season by season. None of them are the same, but that I feel like that's our only shot at this point.
It is, and you got to go on that 20 game run and.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know what? I really, to come full circle, I really thought that they were going to start it because I even said in the video, I was like, everything has to go right for the Blues from here on out. Do I think that's going to happen? No, whatever. And then they go up 5 and I was like, it might actually happen. And then they were like, no.
I got too happy with it last night too. You know, after third, fourth goal, I was like, yes, a good game. Everybody scored. And
pile it on, and then
I think it was after the second goal or something like that. I was like, oh no. Then the third one happened, and I was like, oh, there goes that.
Yep.
It might as well be a 0-0 game at that point.
Yep. Yeah. That it was pretty rough, but. We have another game, another Dallas game.
Another father trip to wrap that up. Yeah.
Yeah. So, man, I don't know about that one. I'll predict a loss because last time I did that, they beat the Jets. So
right.
I'll go with what I can because they need to scrape up as many points as they possibly can right now.
100%. And here's looking forward to that, I guess.
Yep. Dogtown Pizza. If you haven't had a Dogtown Pizza, you are absolutely missing out. There is nothing better than coming home from work or school or wherever you're stuck at for the day, throwing a Dogtown Pizza into the oven for pretty much no time at all, and enjoying that St. Louis style greatness. With selections like a classic pepperoni, the 4 meat, the deluxe, and the veggie, there's a perfect pizza for everyone. The best part is knowing you're supporting a local St. Louis business and family. Dogtown Pizza has partnered with our beloved Blues, but also with other prominent St. Louis figures like Steve's Hot Dogs. And it's run by the Shaper family, St. Louisans through and through with a decade in the business. My family and I had 2 of these bad boys today in preparation for this, and they turned out incredible. Just look at that cheese. Bottom line, if you're looking for a pizza you'll love, from a local company you can trust, run by a family you can relate to, go to dogtownpizza.com, find a store near you, and go get one. Thanks again to Dogtown Pizza for sponsoring this podcast. Let's go get a pizza, and let's go Blues. All right, well, again, thank you to Dogtown Pizza for sponsoring the podcast. Thank you to Interstate 70 Sports Media for helping us out, getting us out there, and really giving us a shot as well. Let's look forward to this Dallas game. Love you guys. Let's go Blues. The STL Hockey Fan Podcast is presented by Interstate 70 Sports Media Group. I-70 strives to give you the best sports coverage in the tri-state area. Find them on Facebook or at interstate70sports.media.